You are now listening to or watching the It Takes All Kinds podcast.
Yeah, and if you aren't, you can head over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify and listen to us now. Or head on over to Drib on YouTube and watch the video version as well.
And if you'd like to stay up to date on when we're releasing a new episode or any other fun information about the podcast, you can give us a follow on Instagram at It Takes All Kinds Podcast and on Twitter at ITAK Podcast. That's ITAK Podcast.
Without saying much else, we hope you enjoy this episode.
I like my cheese drip.
Bye-bye.
How do you know if your area is safe? Check out this map.
What am I doing?
Sorry, that's my designated ad time. That was an ad for a map.
Yeah, we're going to start having to do ad breaks for Gavin's soundboard in the middle of the show. So that's just going to be...
I don't know. It just started doing that.
That's just going to be something we have to do, and you guys are just going to have to deal with that. Sorry.
Sorry.
There we go.
That's just reality.
Sorry.
I'm trying to get to the to the doc. Welcome to the It Takes All Kinds podcast, episode 188. We're recording this on Tuesday, October 15th. You'll be hearing this on Friday, October 18th. Hi. Yes, that sounds correct.
That's right. Sounds good to me.
That would be correct.
We can give you a little discount.
We can give you a little discount.
Discounts.
60 Minutes did a whole segment
saw
on him, so I keep getting 60-minute TikToks about him, and it is... I'm not going to lie, Steve Ballmer might be my favorite billionaire.
Whoa, big news. Put it in the Wikipedia. Yeah. Gavin's favorite billionaire. Why is he... Just because he's a wackadoo?
You can call me a munch.
Munch?
Yeah, he's just fucking insane.
Well, so
like, he literally
Elon.
took the 60 Minutes crew through the bathroom.
Yeah, I saw.
And then they were like, we're going to spare you the porcelain details or something like that.
But he's probably just like, I need to show it to you because I had a hand in making the whole entire stadium.
He did. He did truly have a hand in
wacko.
making the entire stadium.
It looks cool. It looked really claustrophobic to me when I was watching
think that's the
it.
point.
I was like, whoa, this is really tight. And it reminded me a lot of
Did you watch the 60 Minutes segment live?
I saw a clip of it. No, I was there for it.
Well, I mean,
I
you
went
were
there.
on the crew.
I snuck in when they were filming. No, I just snuck in. I just followed them
Oh.
through the bathroom and everything. And I'm watching you, Mr. Balmer. I'm balming up that
Carson, what do we
bald
got on the
head.
docket today, man?
I'm gonna put some balm on that bald head and shove it right in my throat.
Michael Jordan.
You imagine swallowing a bald head? Just think about
I
it.
feel like it wouldn't taste good.
I don't think so, unless they were freshly showered. This week on the podcast, we are going to be talking about some very cheeky and controversial subjects. Mainly this German opera, which we don't, we don't talk about operas very often, but
We're big opera people.
Big opera people. So you actually sent me this on Twitter, and it reminded me that earlier in the week, I was on the wrong side of Twitter. Like if you're on the app and you're on the wrong side where you're on the not following, and it just shows you whatever.
Random shit.
Random Nazi shit. People saying the R slur and F slur for some reason. And I just saw an image of a nude nun on roller skates on a half pipe. And I was like, why am I being fed porn? And then I just like scrolled past it. And then when you sent me the link, I was like, oh, interesting. So we're going to be talking about that. The opera is called Sancta Susanna. And it's apparently leaving audiences seeking medical attention.
Holy shit, that's worse than Terrifier 3.
Well, it's like if Terrifier 3 happened on stage. Not really.
And
I would hope not.
And involved nuns.
Nuns and little nuns too. Or I guess it was a pope. We'll
Did
get into it.
Rage Against the Machine come in and start playing their Nuns with Guns album?
That's not an album.
The Nuns with Guns album?
It's just a graphic they use on a shirt. It might
The
be
Nuns with
referenced in a
Guns
song.
album?
Do you guys heard that Nuns with Guns album? They don't. So, I'm not giving it enough credit unless people already read about it. But it's a wild time.
Quite raunchy.
It's quite raunchy.
Quite raunchy, that.
And then we have a big, Gavin already teased it, but we have a big Carson Cinema Corner. I got something in my throat. Where I'm going to be talking all about Terrifier 3. And there's a lot I would like to talk about it. And I've already talked about it a little with Gavin, which is good because then that means I don't have to go on and on about it. And then Gavin and I finally saw the TV Glow, not a new movie, but newer. And then we have some clips of the week. Go on.
It's been hyped.
It's been hyped. It's been hyped. We were excited to watch it. Then we have some clips of the week that I actually don't remember.
These are all related to Trump. So Trump had a really great week.
Okay, good. They're Trump clips. He did have a
Trump
good
had
week.
He had a really great week. He was on top of it.
He had a really great week.
Yeah, it's great. These are all timers.
I can't wait. I'm excited to get into
those. I think I meant to send one to you before the podcast, and it's one where he says something about Gavin Newsom.
Oh, we need that.
And I meant to send a message with it so that you would read it, but I might have just blatantly just sent it and just was like,
"Oh, if you sent
it,
I'll grab it."
It's somewhere on our DMs.
I need a Gavin clip. That's good.
Yeah, it's a really good sentence too. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like it was something like, "You're not gonna get it, Gavin."
Yeah,
or
I think I know what you're talking about.
Get the hell out of here, Gavin.
Because he was talking about if there was ever a big fire, he wouldn't send money to California.
Yeah,
which is like what? Which is like, if anybody's actually taking that seriously, is hilarious. Because he would have to. There's a lot of things he said he wouldn't do that he.
The gay ball.
Exactly. There's a lot of things he said he wouldn't do that he did do in his presidency. So don't forget that. Dude, election's coming up fast too.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Like, someone posted that they're doing a live show. Majority Report posted they're doing a live show on election night, and I was like, why are they already posting that? And I was like, oh right, because that's in like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks.
Dude, I saw some people posting clips about it, like the 2020 election, and I was like, oh my god, I don't know what I'm gonna do that night. It'll be a make it or break it night for me.
What day of the week is that even? I want to find out.
I think it's a Tuesday, isn't it? Super Tuesday.
Oh, so we might be.
It's
right.
Tuesday.
Yeah, it is a Tuesday. Yeah, so we might be recording that night. We might have to do our own Maybe we'll do our own election special that night, as long as we're not too busy. That could be kind of fun.
Whatever you want to do.
I'd be into that. A little election.
We'll see what I got going that week, because who knows what I have going.
Right, exactly. We'll play that one by ear, but that could be fun. So maybe or maybe not, we'll do that. But yeah, it's coming up fast. I'll just say this. I was kind of deciding whether I should or shouldn't say it, but I was like, I don't know. It doesn't matter why I shouldn't say it, but I already voted. I did a mail-in ballot because I am still a resident of Missouri for the time being. So I'm not registered to vote out here. So I applied for a mail-in ballot, and I was like, I don't know if they're going to let me do that or not. And they did. It was interesting to do that, to say the least. And I had to.
It was like you got the answers to the test before it came out.
I know.
Right?
I was like,
That's
I already know what's on the test.
Yeah.
The weirdest part, though, that I didn't know, and I was literally like, oh, I just moved my camera. Sorry about that. I got it all done. It was like really late at night when I finished it, put it in the thing, and I was like, oh, all done with the day. I'm going to go take this, drop this off tomorrow. And I flip it over, and it's like, you have to take this to get notarized. And I was like, what do I have to do? I was like, oh, I did not know this previously. No, I went to a UPS store, and I went in and I was like, I've never had to ever do this in my entire life. And I was like, hey, I need to get this notarized. And he was like, oh, okay. And then he's like, oh, mail-in ballot. He's like, hell yeah, dude. He's like, good on you for getting this done early. And I was like, oh, thank you, man. Appreciate it. And we sat down, and he's like, okay, raise your right hand. And he's like said something. And I was like, yep.
Do you, Carson Rolfe, take
this woman?
Did they put a Bible on you?
And then
put a Bible on you?
And I didn't realize I was marrying Beetlejuice, actually.
Yeah, that was That was the worst part.
Here's the best part of it, though. That really was the kicker for me. I had to pay $15 to do that.
I believe that, yeah.
I was like,
Banks?
What?
Most banks, I think, would do it free, though.
I wondered that, too. I don't know.
I take that back. I think I did pay $20 in cash
Jesus.
at the bank.
Yeah, man. Unless, I think it was like if your own local bank may do it for free. Like,
Yeah.
I think if I went to my bank back in Missouri, they would have done it. But, obviously I can't do that. So yeah, it was, I was like, cool. So I have to pay to vote. I was like, great. And I get, it's like, I could
It's
and should.
It's a convenience fee, essentially.
Yeah.
Right.
I could and maybe should. I mean, I don't know if I could have changed over to be a resident of California and got registered within enough time. I don't know if there's like a time restraint to that. So like, I mean, that's the alternatives. If I just should have done that. So I'm not actually complaining. I was just like, oh, I didn't realize that it costs that much money.
Sounds like you're complaining, man.
Maybe a little.
Sounds like you're complaining.
Maybe just a teensy weensy bit. Moving on though. Yeah. So get out and vote and do your mail-ins if you need to. Gavin, how are you doing, man? How's your week been? No.
So far, so good.
Yeah. You start you're
Just started
you're not in a
new
hotel.
one. I'm not in a hotel. I'm back at home. I'll be here for the next 5 weeks, and then I'll be in another place.
And
I'm actually filling out forms right now or not right now, but in the process of filling out forms so that I can get there in time, I guess. They sent me these last week, and I just never got on it.
Do you have a place?
I was busy as hell last week.
You have a place?
I need to email my preceptor about it, but yeah, I think I should. If I don't, then I'll find something. Life finds a way.
Yeah.
I'll just sleep at the site.
You should do a wife swap with somebody. Life swap, sorry.
Yes, and life swap. You guys get to stay in my bed, and then I'll take yours.
I'll take your wife. Your bed.
Your bed.
I'll sleep in your what?
Yeah.
I'll
So
sleep
we.
in your bed.
Yeah. So I finished my rotation down in Washington, Mo, and then now I'm up in Chesterfield, Mo, doing some corporate stuff. So
dude.
getting the whole picture of pharmacy right now. And looking forward to see how these next 5 weeks go. So far, we're off to a pretty chill start, but it usually always picks up. But it is what it is.
For show, dude.
For show.
For show.
And then I'm trying to think if I had anything else. I finally had my first weekend off, and it feels like a month, and I think it was somewhere around a month.
Yeah.
Because I think I had been going every single day since. Not that I was counting or anything.
No.
Either I was on site or I was at work every day since September 16th. So that was a long, 28 days for me.
It's every day, bro.
Days. Yeah.
Sweet, dude. I want to just give a little rant for something that I was up to this weekend. And apologies, because literally people might not have been able to listen to the podcast until today. Because good old fucking SoundCloud, where we've been hosting our podcast for the last 3 years. Don't ask why I picked SoundCloud. It made the most sense at the time. I would like to switch over because of this reason, but I don't know how much of a pain in the ass that's going to be. But our podcast is scheduled to go up at live around 9 p.m. Central Time on SoundCloud, and then that goes out to all of the various platforms. And I always check to make sure it does, because Apple usually fucks up. Apple can't get their podcasting system right. I don't know what it is with these fucking companies that why is your shit always broken? Especially Apple. So I was like, oh, this is an Apple issue. I wasn't seeing it on Apple Podcasts. So I was like, of course. So I sent in a request being fix this shit right now. I'm not seeing my podcast, because it's just an automated response anyways. And then I sent that, and then I checked that SoundCloud was down. So literally SoundCloud must have gone down the exact time our show was supposed to go live. Because that's around the time that they posted that they were having issues. So I was like, great. And then so they like, you know,
It's because of our podcast, which drives so much traffic.
It just
to
broke
the site.
it.
That's it just broke it that they couldn't handle it.
It just imploded. And so I was like, great. And so they were like, we'll have it fixed as soon as we can. The next day it wasn't fixed. The day after it wasn't fixed. Finally, Sunday it showed up on Apple Podcasts. Still nothing on Spotify until this morning or late last night. I checked Spotify and it was finally up. And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. What? There's no reason that it should have taken this long. What the fuck are you doing? Like I
did someone accidentally unplug like a server there, or
I don't know.
like what? Like, isn't that like their only job is to either host? Isn't it just hosting podcasts and
or hosting
and
music? Yeah, or hosting music, because it was like literally their RSS feed is broken, which is your RSS feed is what you use to plug into Apple or Spotify to send your music or your podcast onto those external sites. Like literally SoundCloud is used as a hosting platform now because there's no more SoundCloud rappers. That's not a thing anymore.
What?
I know, dude. Catch up, dude. Come on.
All right.
Get off of SoundCloud. So yeah, fuck SoundCloud. Sorry if anybody didn't get to see it. Hopefully after, because I pay for a year in advance, so I have to wait until like April, and then hopefully I can get it switched over to something else, because I'm not gonna. I know other other platforms are gonna fuck up too, because nobody can get their shit right. But this big of a fuck up to where it was nearly a week before they fixed it is unacceptable.
Yeah, 5 days.
So stupid. But I woke up this morning, Gavin, and I was feeling pretty good.
The sun was out, the birds were chirping. Actually, it was a fantastic day.
Actually, it was a very smoggy day here in Southern California.
Oh.
There was a real big layer of filth that the sun finally peered through about midway through the day. Yeah, I just had to do that when I woke up. That might be why my lungs feel horrible today. But I got up and I was feeling pretty good. And then I checked my phone and opened up an app of which I will not name to check on my order, because I just bought a couch over the weekend while we were watching a movie. Funny enough.
I do remember you mentioning that. Yeah.
Yeah. I finally bought it after 2 months. Been so excited to get a couch. It said it was going to be delivered either like Thursday was the earliest, or, by next Monday. So to my delight, I saw that it was out for delivery today. It literally shipped yesterday. And I was like, holy shit, that's fucking awesome. I'm going to get a couch today finally. So I get up and I rearrange all my stuff to make room for it. I'd say like 10 minutes after I saw that on my phone, I go to the bathroom, do my business. I get out. I walk down over here. Jack off. I get down. I go over here to put some laundry in, come back, walk by my mailbox, and notice a little post-it note on my mailbox from FedEx that said they were unable to make the delivery. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what the fuck are you talking? I've been home all day and it's like 11:30, or it's like noon at this point. I've been home this whole time. There is no way you didn't come by. And so I was like, it checked the time and it was like 5 minutes after I saw that it was out for delivery. So like maybe I didn't hear it when I was in the bathroom, but my bathroom is 5 feet away from my front door. So I think these lazy ass idiots didn't even go up to find or they couldn't find it, because why else would the sticker be on my mailbox? My mailbox is like way down there.
Right.
And
they're
my
like, well,
door
this is
up
the
here.
mailbox. It should be here.
He should be here. He should know that it's going to come today. And I just have to wait there all day because they don't give you delivery time. It's just the day.
Right.
So
you just
I was
stand
like,
there. You're like, gosh.
I'm going to do that tomorrow and just stand there. Like, I'm going to be have my binoculars out
tapping
tomorrow.
your foot, tapping your toe.
So then they, of course, push it to tomorrow.
Put like a motion detector out.
Yeah. Put a trail cam up out by the street.
I just imagine like a Looney Tunes. I know I'm probably lagging right now. I imagine a Looney Tunes scene where they're pulling it off while you're in the bathroom. It's like super quick. It's very sped up. They pull it off the truck and then they run up to the door, knock, 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 and then they run back downstairs and then they write a post-it note and put it on there. Put it on the mailbox and they're like,
That's what I think happened because
in
like
those 3 minutes that you were maybe in the bathroom.
Because like when the Verizon fuckers came to my door, I had these headphones on, like blasting music, and I heard them knock. How could I have not? I had headphones in playing a podcast, and I could hear the loud plane noises coming from outside because I had the window open, but I couldn't hear them knock. There's no way. Like, it made me I was fuming after that. Because I was like, I rearranged everything to make room for it. Wasn't expecting it today. I was like, perfect. I'm going to be home all day.
And that's always like a really good feeling is whenever they give you these like false hopes and like early expectations for something whenever you weren't expecting it, and then they never deliver on it.
Yeah. And this is like, I like UPS and FedEx both suck ass. Like the only good delivery service is like, sorry to say it, Amazon, their delivery people are good. And the United States Postal Service. To me, I've only had good experiences with those two. Like back at home in Missouri, I've had the same issues with FedEx and UPS where like they like apparently attempted to deliver it. But I was like, I was home. I would have known you were there. I have dogs.
What the hell are you talking about?
What the hell? My dogs would have gone crazy. Like it's just... Yeah. I'm like, I live in a studio apartment. I can hear every noise. Like,
yeah, it echoes like a orchestra hall.
Exactly. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna have to do tomorrow. I'm gonna have to be on my shit, fucking checking, running down. I'm just gonna run downstairs every 5 minutes and go look both ways and then sprint back up here. Are they here? Every car I hear drive by. Is that them? Are they here? Oh, moving on though.
Put your hand up against the window. God, I hope they come soon.
God, are they gonna? I want my couch.
Won't you come for me?
Won't you come for me? Hey, speaking of come, let's talk about this opera. So,
I like my cheese drippy, bro.
This has got to be one of my new favorite websites, Gavin, and I think you're really gonna like it. This is from operawire.com.
Okay.
One of our favorites. We love OperaWire.
We got artnet.com. We got that like website that was like the Buzz or something like that. I don't remember what it was.
What was the one that pulled the
that was the
well, I was gonna say, what was the one that you found all of those woke or not companies on? You remember that website? Because that one had a funny name. That one wasn't on our list, but I remember that one having a funny name. That was pre-list days. I'm a pre-list celebrity. I don't know why my throat is so tickly. Did you find it?
No, I can't find it anymore. I'm trying to think of what was the name of it.
I don't remember.
Oh, Buy Woke Free.
That's it. Buywokefree.com?
Yeah, buywokefree.com.
Okay. That's got to be up there as one of our favorites.
The Wokington Post. That was an ad that just came up.
The Wokington Post?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. You heard it here, folks.
So this comes from OperaWire, very trusted website for all your opera news. I certainly stay up to date on it. And this reads, explicit sex scenes and sadist depictions in Sancta Susanna. I don't know why I tried to add an L in there. Leave 18 audiences, which is weird. I don't know if they were trying to... I read this at first that they were trying to say like 18 plus audiences. No. But now I think they're actually saying 18 audiences.
I think they meant to say 18 audience members.
Oh, maybe it's a weird translation.
The description, yeah.
Leave 18 audiences seeking medical attention at Staatsoper Stuttgart, which I think is the name of the opera house. Staatsoper. The Staatsoper Stuttgart 18 audience members require medical treatment over the weekend following performance of Sancta Susanna in production by Florentina Holtzinger. According to The Guardian and TMZ, the production, which it's funny that we could have just gone to those websites, but we're on OperaWire. This is our thing. We got to go to like the weird websites.
These like tertiary source websites where they pull from these like normal websites where they just for some reason have to bring every single news story about this stuff in.
And it's not their own reporting. According to The Guardian and TMZ, the production featured a live piercing unsimulated sexual intercourse, and copious amounts of fake and real blood.
Real?
Yeah, dude, it gets wild. Did you read this at all?
No, I
okay,
did not.
good,
This is all
good,
news to me.
because you're in for a real treat. Because this didn't even they didn't even sell this well at all. Because it gets crazy. The Daily Mail, which first reported the story, added that the production includes an actress with dwarfism dressed as the Pope being raised up into the air and spun around by a robotic arm, while another performs Eminem songs dressed as Jesus. And and we'll see it too, man. It's really something. It like
I can't wait.
Is like I won't be able to show. Well, I can probably show that part, but I won't because it'll be too annoying to cut. Maybe if we do a clip, I'll show it. But like their description of that is exactly what happens. What you are reading is like, it's like you see it and you're like, oh yeah, that is
verbatim.
Yeah, verbatim.
That there is a nun dressed as, there's someone dressed as Jesus rapping Eminem while the dwarf Pope. Is that what it is, the dwarf Pope?
Yeah,
That's what they say in the article.
The Pope with dwarfism gets spun by the robotic arm.
While another performs Eminem songs dressed as Jesus.
Of course. And turn the page to Ephesians chapter 7. And sees the female cast, quote, playing nuns who strip off their habits. I think it's pronounced habits. I believe that's how you pronounce it. The hoods they wear. Throughout the sensual, poetic, and wild show. Dude, it just keeps like pulling from other websites.
This is like whiplash to read this. I'm not gonna lie. It's like it's supposed to make you feel one thing, and then it's like it's very thoughtful, poetic.
Yeah.
It's like,
whoa. Hold on. I'm just restarting my camera real quick. Let me just make sure. Yeah, we're good. Sorry, I'm just making sure we get this for the clip.
do you want me to?
No,
do the next one. Okay.
The New York Post also reported that the production showcases, quote, naked performances appearing as clappers in church bells. I don't know what that means. Oh, I do know what that means. Others scaling walls while wearing only harnesses, and a crucifix-shaped sword being thrust down an actress's throat. This is also that's a weird way to word that. This is also an actress portraying Jesus who spanks a semi-naked nun. The most shocking scene of the production, according to the media reports, was, quote, a performer has a piece of their very real flesh cut off and fried on a stove.
Holy shit. I think I would be one of the 18 audience members to leave during the show.
I think you would.
Because that sounds fucking terrifying to watch someone like get, and it might be a little bit piece. It might be on the top of their hand or something like that. But it's still like, I'm like, that's got to be makeup, right? And then it's like there's just blood running down their wherever they got their cut.
Because that would be my first thing, like not reading this, I'd be like, that's not real. And also my thought is like, they're like touring this opera. Who is it? The same person doing it every night? Are they just like, they're
who
just like,
wants
have
to be
divots?
the nun that gets cut? Who wants the nun with cut? Huh?
Who wants the nun to be cut? Is this person just walking around with divots all over their body, like scarred divots?
I mean,
that's crazy.
Hey, that's showbiz, baby.
And sometimes you gotta get your piece of skin cut off of you right
Hey,
on
that's
stove.
showbiz. That's showbiz.
That's showbiz.
Hey, showbiz.
That like blew my brain when I read that. I was like, what happens in it? So I don't know how real. I really want to know how real that is, and I won't believe it until I see it in person. In a statement, the company spokesperson Sebastian Ebling said, quote, on Saturday we had 8 and on Sunday we had 10 people who had to be looked after by our visitor service. He added that a doctor had been called in for treatment in 3 instances. Additionally, Ebling told Stuttgarter Nachrichten newspaper, we recommend that all audience members once again very carefully read the warnings so they know what to expect. The company said that audience members were alerted with several warnings, including incense, loud noises, explicit sexual acts, and sexual violence. It's fucking crazy, dude.
Do they get beat up with dicks halfway through or something? How does this work?
Well, I mean, just I don't know. I don't know what's getting pierced. Holtzinger is known for performances that blur the line between dance, theater, and vaudeville, and her all-female cast typically performs partially or fully naked. Some of her shows have included live, quote, sword swallowing, tattooing, masturbation, and action paintings with blood and fresh excrement.
Awesome.
This is punk rock, baby.
I think I could see a high school putting this on.
Oh yeah, dude.
I remember when. Do you remember when our high school put this on?
Yeah, well, we did the one. So this opera is new. We put on the one before, and they wanted you to shit in your hand and rub it on a big mural, and you were gonna paint a picture.
I was painting the Mona Lisa.
Yeah, well, they remixed it because they wanted to be more up with the times, and they wanted you to paint Baby Yoda with your shit.
That I did do.
But we didn't get. Unfortunately, it just didn't make it through.
And we didn't get any. We don't have any clips or any photos of that, but it happened.
It did happen. We did try it.
Very real.
Work. We got in big trouble for that. Hindersmith's opera is Holtzinger's first opera production, which originally premiered at the Mecklenburg State Theater in May and was later shown in Vienna in June. Where production, it's talking about something else. Yeah, this is talking about. Yeah. Oh, okay. So Hindersmith's is like the person who made the opera, like is the original writer of Sancta Susanna, maybe, or something. I'm kind of confused what they're talking. I think it's a little bit of a language mix up here, so I'll kind of skip that. But last line, Sancta Susanna's production opened on October 5th and is set to run through November 3rd with all shows sold out. Additionally, the production will be shown at Berlin's Volksbühne in November and is already sold out. So you will not have a chance to see it unless you've already bought your tickets. Go buy them on Ticketmaster and ticketweb.com.
And Ticket Faster.
Ticket Faster. They would never show this in America. Yes, no, so absolutely. We got to watch the trailer for it. I'm sorry, guys. I will not be showing this because there is nudity in it. I could cut around it, but it's too like in and out. This might even get claimed as it is because it has music in it.
Can you hear the sound?
Play a little second. I cannot.
I meant to say it.
I meant to. So I apologize. Go watch this though. It literally just type in trailer Sancta Staatsoper Stuttgart. But I bet if you just type in Sancta Susanna trailer, you'll see it. So let's hit it. You will be able to hear it, but it's just music. I don't. Oh shit! Isn't that crazy? Isn't that awesome?
That is insane, dude. I was not expecting.
I know.
I was not expecting that at all.
I really want to know why there's a half pipe on stage the whole time.
That's so good. That's such a good set piece.
Awesome, man. That's so fucking punk rock and crazy. And there's no way this would ever fly in America. They would no shot. Because it's the sacrilegious part of it is the reason why it would get flagged immediately. They wouldn't let you do anything like that here.
You weren't supposed to do that.
You weren't supposed to do that. Which kind of like pivots perfectly into talking about Terrifier 3 because honestly, like
this movie shouldn't be out in theaters as it stands.
I mean, in the same way as like sacrilegious, yes, there is some very sacrilegious stuff that like I was like, holy shit, I cannot believe this movie actually made it to theaters. Like legitimately, like there is like actual like crossover between the two, funny enough. So I went and saw Terrifier. It came out technically on Thursday of last week. I went and saw it Friday night. very excited to go see it. Don't worry about that. It's the FedEx people. They're finally here.
Go get them.
Okay. I was very excited to go see it. So, I mean, there's been 2 Terrifier movies. The first one came out, I believe, in 2016. Let's check. I actually wanted to look this up before and I forgot. Movies. Let's see. And of course, it doesn't just immediately show up the way it usually does. So that's fun. Yeah, first one came out in 2016. Terrifier 2 came out in 2022. And then this one came out last week, as I said.
Oh, it's on Tubi for free.
Yeah,
Terrifier
both. Yeah,
1.
one and 2. And the second one was because I rewatched the second one recently. And Terrifier holds a really special place in my heart, honestly, because it was one of the first horror movies I saw that made me get into horror movies and realize that I really like this genre. Because before then, I was growing up, I was such a scaredy cat of like everything. Like I couldn't spend the night at friends' houses because I was such a pussy. And then like I couldn't watch anything remotely scary because I would be terrified of it. So like this movie and like House of a Thousand Corpses were like 2 of the first like horror movies that like made me go, oh shit, I think I really like this genre. Like I didn't realize I would like it this much. So it really like holds, and I loved the original Terrifier. That was like amazing to see that.
That one is a classic.
Yeah, that one is like honestly like up there with like the original Halloween as like classic, just good slashers and funny, and it's honestly to me it's perfect. And then
did that movie come out in theaters?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so because
I thought it was
like,
only on Netflix or something.
Yeah, it was weird because I can't remember. I recently was listening to the guy who plays Art, David Howard Thornton, I think David Howard Thornton, talk about it, and I can't remember if it was like exclusively released on Netflix, but I think it like came out before as like a feature. And actually, like Gavin, I don't even know if you know this, but the first movie that features Art the Clown is a movie called All Hallows Eve, which came out. When did that come out? Because that's another movie directed by the same director.
That one came out. Yeah, 2013.
So yeah, 3 years, and there's an All Hallows Eve 2 that came out 2 years after that. So Damien Leone made those 2. I think All Hallows Eve was his first feature, and then the second one, and that I also recently watched part of the original All Hallows Eve, and it's like it's not very good. You know, it's a first directorial debut. It's kind of it's a very, very low budget short, but it's fun to see Art like. Probably Damien did his like makeup and it's like not very good. And it's funny to see like the progression of how Art looks. But so those came out, then the original, and then Terrifier 2, which I was super excited when that got announced. I wasn't able to go see it in theaters, unfortunately. I really wish I could have. It was like playing for like a weekend in Missouri. And then I was like, I couldn't go that weekend. And then I like kept checking after, and they like pulled it from theaters after that. So I was like, fuck. So I had to wait like months until it came out, and I had to like rent it on Amazon, which I was like, this is so stupid. So I've seen that twice now. And even the second time watching it, I really couldn't get into it. I don't know what it was. I like I said, that's why I wish I would have gone and seen it in theaters. I think it would have been a whole different experience, but just something about it just like didn't work for me. They like tried to, bring in this like family and make it more of like a, you're going to see these, because the original is just like 2 random characters that like you don't even see them. You see one of them in the next 2 movies, but like, it's not even her playing the character. It's like, I think it's somebody else. So that was like that was made to be standalone. The second one was like, okay, let's make this a franchise and let's bring in some people. And yeah, it just didn't really work for me. Like some of it was good and some of it was bad. And a lot of it really just drug on, but I was just happy to see that it got made. It just wasn't my favorite. And then Terrifier 3 gets announced, and then it's announced that it's going to be based in Christmas. And I'm like, I'm back on board. Like, I don't even care.
That's Carson's like bread and butter.
You just took my favorite things.
Bread and butter.
bar. You took my favorite things and smushed them together on a sandwich and fed it to me.
Peanut butter and jelly mixed with bread and butter. It's a big.
Speaking of, there's gonna be peanut butter and jelly M&Ms that we gotta try when those come out. I know. I'm like,
I feel about that.
I know. It's like it sounds good, and then you're like, does it though? Does it sound good? I don't know.
Jelly filled M&Ms.
Jelly filled
chocolate.
M&Ms. What's chocolate?
Really?
Really?
So I went and saw it on Friday, packed theater out here in LA for most opening movies. So was Beetlejuice.
I didn't go see it.
Packed. Yeah, Gavin did not see it. I should have said that. And he doesn't want to because he's religious now. And so
I found God.
I saw God. So first of all, I just have to say this. The theater going experience out here is like nothing I've ever experienced in my entire life. Cause
Is it a lot of fun?
It is. It felt like I was seeing a movie in like the 1980s with like a rowdy crowd. And that's like been every movie I've been to. That like Longlegs was a little rowdy, but not as rowdy. Beetlejuice was pretty rowdy. This was like fucking crazy rowdy. Like I was not expecting that. Like, and I've never seen a movie living back in Missouri where anybody made any sort of noise during the movie, and nobody would dare to do it because somebody would get up and be like, shut the fuck up, like shut up. Like even when I saw Halloween Kills opening night, literally packed to the gills, everybody was dead silent the whole movie. And I don't know if people out who've lived out here in LA for a long time know that like that's not normal other places. And so like this one especially was really eye-opening because like, and I honestly was a little nervous because I sat in the very middle row pretty much. And when I bought the ticket, there was like a whole slot in the middle that was like all sold. And so I just picked one like a couple seats over so I wasn't sitting right next to somebody. Well, when I got there, I was sitting right next to somebody. And then I quickly found out that everybody in that row was like a group of like college dudes that were all together and they were like drinking. Like I could smell whiskey just like wafting into my face. And I was like, here we go. Let's see how this goes. And they were the rowdiest of the bunch. And I was like, fuck, I'm like, if somebody like a theater employee is going to come in and like kick them out and they're going to think I'm with them because I look like them. And I was like, I'm going to have to explain to them that like, no, I don't know these people. Like I promise you, I don't know who they are. But it turned out fine. That didn't end up happening. But like every kill or anything that happened, the theater was just like screaming, like, not like screaming, like scared, like excited. Like they're like, holy shit. Yeah. And clapping and like going nuts. And that was great. Like I thought I would hate that, but in turn, I really like that a lot. Especially for a movie like this, that it's like, it's not like you're seeing, a
Campy.
Scorsese movie or anything. You're watching like a gross out horror movie,
Right.
And I fucking, just to say it, blanket statement, I loved this movie. I loved it. Every second of it. Like, it was a perfect balance of like, it was the same characters, the people who I thought I didn't like, but it was like the main girl who's in it, whose name I don't know. She's really good. And she's really good in this. And she plays her part really well. And her brother, who is in the first one, isn't very good. And he's used very sparingly, thank God. No offense to him, but I feel like they might be writing him off, and it seems like they did, but I don't know. So, and also spoilers from here on out because I have to talk about some key points of it. But they did a perfect balance of like, it was legitimately at times emotional. Like I got kind of emotional during parts that I was like, why am I getting emotional during Terrifier 3? Like, what is this? So they did a perfect balance of that and gore and kills and showing art and all of this and comedy. Like it is I told Gavin this, that like, I don't think I've laughed more at a movie than I did at this movie. Like it's legitimately so funny.
You should take that back. We saw Master of Disguise.
And we saw The Post, which was a very funny movie.
Which was a very funny movie, especially in St. Charles, Missouri. That was like peak.
I realized recently that movie is directed by Steven Spielberg.
Yeah. And it has Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks in it, and like
Not a good movie.
it's supposed to be like a star-studded cast.
It's not a good movie. Don't watch
It's also the time whenever I looked over at someone in the elevator and said, "What?"
Which is a whole. I feel like we told that story maybe. Gavin
One of my
thought somebody was
favorites.
talking to him and he wasn't.
And
And
he
he
wasn't.
yelled,
Yeah.
and he said "what" very loudly at them. Not talking about the post though. Terrifier 3. Yeah, laughed my head off as much as I laughed at the post. Maybe more, a lot more. And just to talk about some things that I loved about it the most, because like our friend Spencer was like, I don't think I want to go see this movie. He's like, it looks really gory. And then he's so funny because he was like, yeah, I watched like all the kills in it. And I was like, I don't want to go see this. And I'm like, wait, you don't want to go see it because it's really gory, but yet you watched all of the kills and the goriest moments on TikTok before?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? You already saw the worst parts of it. And it's very gory, a lot of close-up gore. But right away, they have an opening scene, which I loved, where Art shows up, which is funny because it doesn't even like ever tie in at any point. I just realized, but Art shows up at a house as Santa and murders the whole family. And there's a little girl who doesn't get murdered right away, who like gets away, but he kills her little brother, but they don't show him killing the little brother. And I was like, okay, good. They didn't like step over the line and show someone killing a kid. And then very graphically, the mom runs in to make sure he's still alive and he's not. And it just cuts to a wide of a dismembered child laying in a bed. And then his body parts all over the room. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck? That was not ready for that. Like so unexpected. I was like, holy shit. So that was just like a insane way to kick off the movie. And then it goes like right into, the rest of the movie.
Right.
And some other points I loved of it. I told you about this, but he sees, it's based around Christmas, and Art the clown, who's a mute if you've never seen the movie, is like a mime. He doesn't ever say anything. I'm waiting. Like, I feel like within the next 2 movies, he's going to say something and like break character. Like that's going to be like a
say
part of
something
it.
like, wow.
Or he's going to be like, oh, fuck. Like, like someone's going to shoot him and he's going to say, oh, fuck. He runs by a bar and he notices Santa, this guy dressed as Santa, in the bar having a drink. And he like runs by the window and then like runs back and he goes, and he like points at the window and he runs in and he's like freaking out. He's like a little kid getting so excited. And Santa's like, oh, okay, hey, clown. He keeps calling him Clowny. Hey, Clowny, what are you doing? Yeah, that's me. I'm Santa. Come on. He like, because Art like points at a picture of Santa and he's like, yep, that's me. I'm Santa. And then there's like a whole scene with that. And then of course he ends up killing Santa and torturing him. And it's a whole thing. But that was so, and no one else in the theater was laughing at that. And I was like having to like hold my laughter because I thought it was so funny. And then I think the craziest scene of all, if you thought that dismembered child was going to be the craziest, there's a scene in a mall where there's a mall Santa and the mall Santa leaves. And then Art shows up in the Santa outfit he stole from the Santa he killed in the bar. And he also like cut his beard off and like stuck the beard on with the blood and skin. And he like, the mall Santa leaves to go on a lunch break. So Art like walks in and he's like, he sits in the chair and he's like acting like he's Santa. And like the kids realize he's there and then they run up and like Art he's like reaching around in his like a red trash bag. And you think he's going to pull out like a weapon or something. And he pulls out a toy and gives it to the girl. And then the kids run up and they all get toys. It's like a very wholesome moment. Like Art's like giving these kids toys. And then the kids are going crazy. And then a security guard comes over and like kicks Art out. And he's like doing all this like stuff. And he kicks him out. And then it keeps cutting back to this kid opening a box. And he's like, I wonder what I got. He's like opening this box. And then it cuts to a wide. And it's like keeps cutting back to Art, like, getting frustrated. The kid gets the box open, it cuts to a wide, and it's a pipe bomb, and it just explodes. And like all of the kids like die, you know, like you would have to imagine. But it was just like, what the fuck? What is happening? So it's just like, it steps over the line so many times, like by killing children
on screen, which is crazy.
It's so nuts, especially just with like, it felt to me kind of like there's some sort of like subliminal message in there into like what's going on in the world right now with all of that. Like we're like, you know, like we're seeing this graphic imagery for a reason, it felt like. And I don't know if that was intentional or not. That's just something that I like came to mind. And then another thing, last thing about it, and then we can move on, where the sacrilegious part comes in. So I mentioned to you that there's a skin woman and I didn't know who the skin woman was. And she just has like skin over her eyes. And so for my understanding, if I'm getting some of this wrong, you can let me know in the comments, but the girl who lives in the very first movie, her name is Vicky. And she's brought up in the second movie because she goes crazy and then they put her in jail. And then I think she teams up with Art in that movie, but maybe she doesn't. So like Art like breaks her out of jail and then him and her like go together. And like, it's like a whole thing. Like there's like a backstory of why, yada, yada. So they like team up together. And like, she's even more nuttier than he is because she's like she like becomes like his god almost. I don't know how to explain it. And she literally wears a crown of thorns and she takes it off and puts it on the main protagonist's head and like shoves it into her head. So like the main protagonist for the last like, 15 minutes of the movie is wearing a crown of thorns. And it's like, whoa, that's so crazy that it's just like, it breaks it breaks every rule. And and then the ending's very emotional and fucked up. And they shove a tube down a woman's throat and put rats into the tube. And then
that is really emotional.
It's really, that part was especially really emotional. But yeah, it's just fucking nuts. I mean, I could literally just talk forever about it. And I'm tempted to go see it again, but it's one of those movies where it's like, I want to go see it again, but it's like, I also really don't because
it also may have been in part to how the theater going experience was for you.
Exactly. And I don't want to, it was so special to me that like, I don't want to have another theater experience like that. I just want to have that one and keep that
happy with it
and be happy with that. So yeah, it's great. If you guys have a chance to go see it in theaters, hopefully it's showing near you, please go see it. Be prepared to be grossed out and maybe offended by it. And the reason I brought that up is because David Howard Thornton reposted a picture someone sent him of like people outside of a theater that had a sign that said like, this theater is showing Terrifier 3. This is a satanic movie. And like people were protesting the movie outside of a theater. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. Sorry, I moved the camera again. But yeah, anyways, great movie. Go see it. And then the next day, you and I and your brother watched I Saw the TV Glow on HBO Max, not in theaters. What did you think of it, or do you want me to go first? Because I think we both have the same opinion.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I already knew going in that this was a transgender allegory.
Yeah.
Just kind of like a storytelling of someone's experience as a trans person.
Yeah.
And I mean, kudos to them because they executed a very well done movie. I think everything about it was top to bottom. It looked great. It was a great story. But it just really wasn't for me.
Yeah.
It didn't really resonate with me nearly as much. I mean, I'm a straight guy, so straight white guy for that matter.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of, I'm a cis het.
You're a cis.
I'm cis. And it didn't really apply to me, so I just it was a great movie, but it was just not what I was expecting.
Not made for us. Yeah, and I totally agree. I felt the same way as I was watching it. I was like, this is a really good movie, but I don't I don't like it, not because of what it stands for, because obviously I super support that. But it's like,
Right.
like you said, it doesn't resonate with me, anything I've been through personally. Whether that's, thinking I'm someone who I'm not, or vice versa, or even just like the thought of like, yeah, I mean, just that in general, whether it's your sexuality, your gender, or just who you are as a person, just in general. I think it could resonate with that. And it's just something I haven't been through, and I can understand that. Like everything about the movie, I understood what it was trying to do and convey. It just didn't do anything for me, personally. But like you said, beautiful looking movie. It was so fun to see Connor O'Malley act, and
that was weird. That was a jump scare, to be honest.
Yeah,
with you. I was not expecting him to be in this movie.
Yeah.
But they had a lot of really good cameos. They had Snail Mail in there. They had Phoebe Bridgers was in there. There's
Fred
probably
Durst
someone else I'm
as the
missing.
dad.
Fred Durst was in there.
Who never said anything, but he was
yeah, he
in
didn't.
it.
He legitimately didn't say anything.
Which I think
Which
was
there
good.
was one scene. There was one scene where he like the main character.
Oh right.
Like shoves his head in the TV, and Fred Durst pulls him out and puts him in the bath.
Yeah.
And that was a kind of out of context scene. I felt that was.
Yeah, I
think that was supposed to be like kind of like the climax of the film. Is that it was like.
Yeah.
It was definitely a turning point, I should say.
Yeah. And I was also if I could say I was disappointed in anything, is that this was really hammered home to me as a horror movie, and it really wasn't. There wasn't anything scary.
Tame.
Thriller, I would say thriller.
Yeah,
but
because I was always wondering like, when's it gonna?
Yeah, when's the jump scare?
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, when's the jump scare? And like, I was like, oh, maybe the Mr. Melancholy is gonna be like really scary.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, okay. It's just kind of creepy. You know?
It was more just like a little disturbing.
Yeah.
Like,
just a little. Like disturbing.
And burying someone alive is kind of like a.
Yeah.
Like seeing it happen.
Right.
Rather than just being like, oh, they were buried alive.
Yeah.
It was like seeing it happen and like seeing that concept being shown as like, dying and being reborn again was also kind of like a disturbing kind of fact.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Just disturbing. That's a good way to put it. But yeah, so that, that was that. If, I would say go see it. I wouldn't say don't not
recommend
see it.
Yeah.
It's just, not for us. But if you want to be grossed out and see dead children, go see Terrifier.
Go watch Terrifier.
It's so funny to because I'm going to sound insane explaining any of that. Because people who aren't into horror don't get why that's something you would want to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really out of context.
Yeah, and it's like I
that.
don't want to see that, but it's like it's a part of the art form.
The movie.
And it's a part of the movie, and it's like it's very hard to explain because I realized that when I was explaining why I like horror to someone, and they were like, why?
You sound fucking insane.
Yeah. They were literally like, that sounds crazy. And I'm like,
that sounds
like
so
it does. Like it does sound crazy. And I don't really know what it means. I'm like, it's not real. It's not really happening. Nobody actually died. So maybe that means something.
Unless you're watching the Twilight Zone movie.
That is true. Or
that is
The
true.
Crow.
Watch it now.
1994's The Crow.
Which they did a re-release of this year.
Remake.
Sorry, I meant remake. A remake of with Skarsgård, one of the Skarsgård brothers in it. And whatever movie house is producing those kinds of movies,
Lionsgate.
They're in for a tough year.
Yeah, that's
they
Lionsgate.
Have been in for Lionsgate has had a tough year.
Yep. Go listen to Movies, baby, if you want to hear all about that. Because I don't listen to other movie podcasts, but I feel like they broke the news.
They talked about it. That was one of the clips I saw.
Yeah, but I heard that movie actually wasn't that bad, and I was kind of tempted to go see it. So once it comes out on streaming, because I will go see that. Let's do these clips though. Let's just hammer them out, and then we can do this Nextdoor Drama. It's pretty quick.
Let's see.
GTFO.
Hold on. Let me make sure I'm sharing my sound. Okay.
Sharing my sound.
So this first one is Trump talking about the word grocery. Here we go.
Oh, yes.
They have more
complaints on grocery. The word grocery, you know, it's sort of simple word, but it sort of means like everything you eat. The stomach is speaking. It always does. And I have more complaints about that. Bacon and things going up, double, triple, quadruple. I have more.
I got more complaints about that bacon. Things going quadruple, triple that.
I know Vic and Doug get sent drops all the time, but I might have to send him that one because I need bacon. Bacon. Yeah, the stomach is speaking. It always does.
This is another one that is, I feel like has some good applications, especially if someone's talking about like, is there an echo in here? Was that the wind? And he's like, the wind, the wind, the wind, the wind, the wind. The wind is.
Over some of those beautiful windmills. They're falling down, by the way. They're all over the place. They're all over the place. That gorgeous, beautiful Pennsylvania countryside. They got these big, ugly suckers hanging down. They're rusting and rotting. Half of them weren't spinning, and the ones that were going so slow. They were going, it's not too windy, but, you know, they're going like slow. The other ones were just dead. But they're all rusting and disgusting looking.
What?
And then, you know, the environmentalists say that it's also, very importantly, the most expensive form of energy there is. You cannot get more expensive. The wind, it sounds so wonderful. The wind is bullshit. I'll tell you, it's horrible. So expensive. It's just too expensive. It doesn't work. All of that to do, you know, 1/10 of 1%. I mean, the whole thing is crazy. You remember when I used to say, darling, I want to watch our president tonight on television. And the husband looks, I'm sorry, dear. The windmills aren't wind. There's no wind tonight. You can't watch, darling. We're not going to be.
The windmills aren't wind.
What is he even saying there at the end? You remember when I used to say,
watching
darling?
Tonight. Maybe we'll catch him another time. No, we have to be careful. We have.
What the fuck? That's a
yeah.
whole new thing because he's been talking about windmills forever and it's been debunked.
Yeah, that's a new one where he's talking about the wind being bullshit.
The wind is bullshit.
The wind bullshit.
It's
the wind is bullshit. He's so out of it, man.
Are windmills the most expensive form of energy?
They're not.
I feel like
the most expensive form of energy is coal.
Yeah, or nuclear. No, is that or no? It's
yeah,
pretty
nuclear can be expensive.
Yeah, or maybe
whenever you build it, but it gets paid off over years.
And then if
the energy it doesn't, the energy it's not taking up. You know what I mean?
Exactly
to make the energy.
But then if there's something happens, it can cause
obviously be expensive, but
insurmountable amount of damage.
Yeah, but that is
of money.
It's only happened twice in however many years.
Oh yeah, it's fine. It's totally cool.
Here's a good one. You will never believe how he says this. So he's supposed to be saying Arizonans. He is supposed to be saying Arizonans. This is insane.
Thank you, Tanya. Oh, beautiful. You look great. Thank you, darling. Also, we have many Azerasians in our room. We have some incredible people in our room. We have so many that we just can't. But we have some people in our room that I'm not going to mention because they fully understand.
He doesn't know what he said there. That's why he's saying any of this. He doesn't know what he said. He doesn't know what he was meant to say there. So he's trying to talk about Arizonans, but because he said Azerasians, he completely gets off track, like so quickly. Like, listen to this.
Thank you, darling. Also, we have many Azerasians in our room. We have some incredible people in our.
He's talking about these Azerasians as if they're like an incredible people.
Right.
We have so many that we just can't.
Does he say it again?
But we have some people. We have.
He's trying. I think they're trying to get him to like reprompt, but he's not reprompting. He's like, these are just whatever. Basically, he's just like, these are incredible people. I don't know exactly what they are, but they're in the room with us and they're awesome.
Okay. I just want to hear the rest of it.
Azerasians in our room. We have some incredible people in our room. We have so many that we just can't. But we have some people. We have some people in our room that I'm not going to mention because they fully understand why. Because I don't have time. But Robert O'Brien, I'm mentioning because he's the one that got the 300 plus people. So Robert O'Brien, please stand up.
Oh shit!
Thank you.
I love Azerasians, man. I didn't hear this at all. Azerasians, dude. I mean, let's just. What was the word that George Bush said wrong or spelled wrong?
Of the wind.
Wasn't
the
it
wind. It sounds so wonderful. The wind.
bullshit?
The wind is bullshit.
He spelled, or was it someone else?
This was another clip I meant to put in here, but
Okay.
During a rally, he requested to put on Ave Maria by someone, and proceeded to just stand there and like bob his head for like a solid 5 minutes.
Oh right, I heard about this. Probably mute it.
Well, I can't. I don't know what happened here, but it's very well. There we go. The player finally fucking showed
That
up.
was
I
weird.
love X, but he's again just standing here.
Yeah, because
playing Ave Maria.
they played like a bunch of songs and he just like hung out, right? Wasn't that what that's what I heard.
It was odd. Yeah.
They just like played a bunch of different songs. So I was just thinking back about
Hear
this.
that
George Bush's senior advisor, I think it was, Dan Quayle, misspelled potato, and that was like a huge controversy. Do you remember that at all? Do you remember hearing about? I mean, this was
no, I actually don't. That's one of the very few. Well, anything from like that period of time is like a black hole.
And this was also, I should mention, George H.W. Bush. So this was 92.
Okay, then definitely I don't remember that.
But I just remember hearing, and maybe I'm crazy, but I just remember hearing about this multiple times when I was a kid and being like, wow, that is pretty dumb that he spelled that wrong. And then it's like, fast forward to now, and this, like, how many things is Trump just like completely butchered?
Fucked up. Yeah. It's fantastic.
Azerations. Sorry, I just had to
Go
mention
and
that.
vote. Let me hear that music, please. Let me
Everyone,
hear
let's
that
thank
music.
President
Loud,
Trump.
Nice and loud.
Very
Nice
odd.
and loud.
But just putting out there that Donald Trump is fucking insane and sincerely not fit for office.
No.
Sincerely, this man will completely destroy everything you know and love.
Well, he doesn't even want to run.
No, he's
doesn't
being
want to.
held up. He's just a fucking puppet at this point.
He said himself, I didn't want to run, but I've seen how bad Biden's been running the country, so I had no other choice but to run. His words, not mine. Go listen to the first debate. God, what a
I didn't even want to run.
Azerations.
Azurations.
I'm not even going to mention them, but they're here in this room. They know who they are. What does that even mean? Wow, that was great, Gavin. Thank you for those.
You're
The
welcome.
grocery store, the bacon, all that. Beautiful.
Bacon.
The bacon. Don't get me started on bacon. Nextdoor Drama, moving into this segment. Whoa, Gavin's doing some crazy stuff
Sorry.
here. No, you're fine.
I was moving it up.
I just like to, I'm just going to move that one thing and then we're good. Nextdoor Drama, a segment we do on occasion where we go to the infamous Nextdoor blog posting website, which is a blog posting website for your neighborhood where people can post whatever the hell is going on. We're still picking from the suburbs of St. Louis, Missouri, and probably will remain there just because it's gold. And it's
Seeing
just
how the LA moderators handle it there, dude.
yeah, and it's just like they just use it too properly, and that's no fun. I need
Fuck them for that.
I know. I need people who have nothing.
It's bullshit.
It's bullshit. The wind. I need people who have nothing to do with their lives, and also like we don't get we don't get any right wing crazy nuts or around my area. Like if we go to like
Yeah.
Orange County, yes, but I'm nowhere near Orange County. So I think we'll just be sticking there, man. It's too good not to. It's too easy to find gold. But yeah, I also heard something. The CEO of Twitch was formerly the CEO of Nextdoor. Did you know that?
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I did not know that.
I recently learned this. I was like, whoa.
That's crazy.
What a rise.
That
What a
is
glow
that is
up.
quite the jump.
Huge.
Yeah, that's a really big jump. That's a much wider audience. I think it's a wider audience. I think
I would hope so.
I would hope it's a bigger audience, but that is
Certainly a
it's
lot more money.
yes.
But yeah, so we go to Nextdoor and we pick a blog entry and we script it out along with the comments and we do a dramatic reenactment of it. So this week's Nextdoor Drama is titled Spoiled Teenagers That Think They Can Do What They Want. I will be playing James, Gavin will be playing Jackie, and we're a couple of frustrated parents. I think you know what that's like. So without saying much else, I'm going to hit the Nextdoor Drama intro song and we're going to get right into it. Here we go. Commiserations.
The wind. It's bullshit.
This week on Nextdoor Drama.
If anyone last night dealt with very rude, loud, disrespectful teens, I'm talking throwing hot dogs, driving through yards, yelling at homeowners, etc., call it a high school. They had several incidents last night and want to know about all of them so they can act accordingly.
This is what is known as teenage raging hormones.
No. That is spoiled teenagers that think they can do what they want. One of our nephews knew he could get away with everything because his dad had money. Unfortunately, he went one too far and paid with his life. Kids who have everything given to them have no respect. My children knew if they did something wrong, they were going to make it right. First with an apology, then to make everything right with the person whose property they violated. My son was 5, and he stole 3 mints from Mr. Steak. We went back in when I figured out what he did. He apologized, and the manager said, "That's okay," and I told him it was not. Did he have any table he could clear? Anything he felt was right. My son cleared 2 tables and went back up and told the manager, Brian F. He was very sorry, and he would never do it again. My kids were kids, but I never had any trying to steal again that I know of.
Free hot dogs? Where?
Wow.
I mean, first of all, that is just so insane. Had to pay
That is
for it
the
with his
most-
life.
That is the most St. Charles comment I have ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
That is sincerely one of the, well, my kid did learn the lesson, and by the way, he's now a perfect little angel.
And my nephew, who wasn't and stole, is dead.
Dead.
That's great. That is insane.
He paid.
to say
He
that.
paid with his crimes with his fucking life. Stealing is the worst thing that a human can do to another human.
I don't think these people realize that what they're saying is public and their names, and sometimes the addresses are attached to it.
Oh yeah.
Like, how do you really? No one in your family is gonna see that. You think?
They're gonna be like, Grandma, why'd you post that?
Grandma, why did you? Grandma, why did you post that? My uncle was
Or like,
killed.
Aunt Jackie, why'd you post that, man?
Yeah, why did you post that?
Go to
You
hell.
nut. You absolute nut. Oh yeah,
You nut.
and then the glazing up her own kids is like,
But yeah. Well,
ugh. I can
my
picture.
kids.
Yeah.
Well, my kids aren't that bad.
I
There's no way that they would ever do anything like that I know of.
That I know of. I can picture the person who's saying that too, by the way, and I think
Oh,
you
yeah, me
probably
too.
can too. I think we knew a couple
Absolutely.
of them.
100%.
And it's like mints at a restaurant are free. They're
Free.
They're not stolen if they're given out for free.
And even if they were, they're 25 cents. They buy those things for $5 and make like $50 off of it.
Exactly. Yeah, I guess that's true. They could have been for sale, but like I've seen that at one restaurant. They're usually free.
I see them typically at Hispanic restaurants.
Exactly. Mexican restaurants, you sometimes see candy for sale. I don't think I've ever seen mints for sale.
Mints, no.
And even if they weren't, I would expect that they were free. Like I would never.
Right, exactly. And it wouldn't be like, oh, and it might have been maybe the reason why she did was because it was 3 mints.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's like there's probably a sign that said take 1 mint, and he was like, oh, let me just take a few mints, and it was 3, and then she was like, are you kidding me? And then
Go to hell!
And the manager
You're
was,
going to clear these 3 tables, and you're going to go to hell for it.
and the manager was probably like, oh, well, that's fine if you stole the,
Yeah,
took
like
the
if,
mints.
if
Like
that's
it's
what you
all good.
want to do, great.
Oh, he took mints? Okay, well, that's what they're there for. I mean,
Yeah.
not that big of a
I'm
deal.
glad you took some. I'm trying to get rid of it, actually.
They're old. They're out of date. They're
They're
honestly
stale.
we've had them for the same mints for 5 years. God, some parents are just so insane. Crazy. That's why I don't know if I'll ever have kids. Because I know that's how I'll be.
Right.
Nice.
No, right.
Moving on, though, final segment, and then we got to get out of here, is Whatcha Listening To, where every single week, Gavin and I recommend a song, album, or artist that we've been listening to over the past week. Recommend it to you, the audience, and to each other. Gavin, what are you listening to this week?
Carson, this week,
Yeah?
I'm listening to.
Yeah?
I'm listening to Darling by Alone in My Room.
Wow.
And I feel like believe it or not, one of my coworkers I work with, shout out Matt,
Shout out.
he had heard this on the radio and he said, "This is a Gavin song." So he showed it to me last night, and I appreciate him for that because I have been listening to the Clairo album and Spoon and everything else that I normally listen to on repeat. I have not listened to anything new other than that Gilded Lily by Colts.
That's always a really good feeling whenever someone's like, I think you would like this song. And
Yeah,
then,
exactly.
And then it's even better when you actually do like the song.
Yeah, and I was like, this is
That's not always the case.
It's kind of like reminds me. To be honest with you, it just reminds me of not like Halloween music, but like it's like, I don't know. It's like that kind of like, God, what's the word?
Spooky.
Yeah, kind of like spooky, like 50s songs.
Okay.
Kind of not like Scooby-Doo chase music, but more just like
Sure.
kind of like it's a very like muffled kind of microphone. Like it's a very like fuzzy microphone.
Okay.
It's got some fuzzy. It's
Warm.
got some, yeah, like surfer kind of.
Okay.
It's surfing Halloween music. That's how I describe it. Yeah, it's kind of
really?
like that. Yeah, it's a very particular sound, and there. A lot of the other bands that were playing on this playlist that he was playing that were supposed to be related to this all sounded exactly the same. So I don't know exactly what genre of music this is, but it was right up my alley, and I appreciate him for showing me this.
For showing me. Because there is literally, I recommended them maybe a few years ago, maybe last year, a literal like Halloween surf rock band. Called, I forgot what their name is off the top of my head, the Ghastly Ones, and they did music for SpongeBob, like old SpongeBob.
Yeah.
So it's just funny that you mentioned that because I wonder if it is literally what you're describing. That'll be interesting if it's the same thing. That's cool. I'll give it a listen. I am kind of recommending. It's not really a Halloween-y song, but it kind of has that vibe to it because these guys were really inspired by Misfits and Danzig and stuff like that. And that is a song called Preacher Man by Twitching Tongues. Twitching Tongues is a band I never got into until recently. And the reason why is because I started listening to this podcast called Hard Lore. And it's a hardcore podcast that is like in association with Knotfest, which is Slipknot's festival. That's like now maybe their media company. It's very confusing. But these two guys, the singer from Twitching Tongues and the guitar player and backup vocalist from one of my favorite hardcore bands of all time, also one of your brother's favorite hardcore bands of all time, Harm's Way, almost said Knocked Loose. Harm's Way. They host it, and I just started listening to it recently, and I love it. And then I was like, I've never really listened to Twitching Tongues. I've always heard their songs come up, but never got into it. And then I did. And Preacher Man is just such a fucking good song. It just feels like a ballad. It's really good, beautiful. It's got breakdowns in it, of course, but it has like singing in it. Super cool. Go check that song out. I love it, and I cannot stop listening to it.
Banging out the tune.
Banging at me tune. That's all I got. Anything else from you, Bubba? Bubba Gump?
I don't have anything else, but Carson, let me thank the viewers for watching today's episode, and keep watching, keep listening, keep liking, and doing everything that you do with our episodes. And apologies for the Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcast mishap this past week. Hopefully everything will be on schedule this week, and it was completely out of our control.
See you next week, same time, same damn place.